जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजना। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare। Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare। Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare। Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada। Gurudev Jaya Srila Gurudev। कलियुग पावन श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरं परमानन्दमाधवम्। Hare Krishna. Very happy to be with all of you this Sunday morning. Usually it is Sunday afternoon. Afternoon मतलब सोने का time, but अभी जगने का time. Everyone's awake. Hopefully. I don't know what happens the other end. We live in a totally different world, so I really don't know. कब सोते हैं, सोते रहते हैं. I don't know.
No, that is true. So basically, it's like Gita class का इतने बार advertise करो फिर भी थोड़े lag आएंगे. अभी मैं अगर pizza party का डालूं तो lag लग जाएगी.
Okay, then we can try that probably. फिर पिज़्ज़ा पार्टी बनाते हैं. So we'll tell जो गीता सुनेगा उसको पिज़्ज़ा. पहले पिज़्ज़ा फिर पिज़्ज़ा. Okay, so let's trick people. We'll try that. And pizzas from our Jagannath restaurant. 4 flavors में हरिनाम चिंतामणि, yes, Anant Shezwan. Let's have Spanico and Golok Express. These are our 4 famous delights. गोविंदा सुप्रीमो बच्चा है, बच्चों के लिए होता है वो. It's a small one. ना अच्छा, वो भी बच्चों का है. Very nice. Sunday 11 बजे लोग उठना शुरू करते हैं. Yes. उठे हुए हैं, भक्त लोग तो उठे हुए हैं. Thank you so much for being awake, alert and alive for our Gita class, and we have been discussing about a very difficult subject, or rather a subject that people don't want to discuss. वो क्या है? तपस्या. Prabhuji, the last thing that we want to do. Yes, and many people think, बहुत लोग सोचते हैं कि Krishna consciousness is boring. Krishna consciousness means tapasya, सब छोड़ो, गीता मतलब त्याग. This is what people don't want to hear. And Abhi, we are going to discuss that subject only. But the experience of devotees is different. पिछली बार I remember completing lecture and people were like, 1 घंटा हो गया बाबूजी? Is it done? तपस्या इतनी आसान है? Yes, that's the beauty of Srila Prabhupada's presentation, representation, the culture that he created. Spirituality is very easy in association. संग में आसान है. So we already discussed about 2 types of austerities. 2 प्रकार के हो गए austerities. क्या हुए? Speech पिछली बार था. Before that, body. Body is supposedly easy. लेकिन वही मुश्किल होता है कलयुग वाले लोगों को. What is austerity of body? Getting up and coming for class. Oh my God. कुछ और बोलो. Pizza party बोलो. Nice. So we have discussed that body mainly deals with, just a quick recap, worshipping elders, superiors, Supreme Lord, Deva Guru Dvija Pragyam Pujanam, to worship. Then Saucham, about cleanliness. Sometimes, I don't know, because I told you, I live in a totally different world, right? So Sunday day matlab chalo, day of skipping bath. Nahana skip karne ka din happens. I don't know how many homes it happens. Huh? Sun bath. Sunday, sun bath. Yes. Some people want to take pool bath. They get into pool, but that is the most contaminated water. A pond is said to be pure if it's connected to the Rasatal or Patal Lok. Yeah, there's a way to connect a pond. उससे connect होता है वो. Many of our Divya Kundas and ponds, they're all connected to the Patal Lok. There's a way to connect. Then that water body is pure. Otherwise, moving water is something that is pure. Because the purification happens. Patal Lok is not meant for good people, but the connection to Patal Lok purifies the water body. पाताल लोक मतलब हम लोग सोचते हैं गंदे लोग होंगे, नहीं, गंदे लोग रहते हैं, लेकिन वातावरण जो पानी जो है शुद्ध तभी होता है. If you see Ganga, where does it flow? Yes, it flows till Patal Lok. She purifies all three worlds. Correct? So there's a connection. Like that, many ponds are connected. That's a way to do it. Then that water is considered to be pure water. Okay, so that is Saucham, Arjavam, simplicity in dressing, in existence, and Brahmacharyam. We practice this. That is austerity of body. Yeah. Then austerity of speech, something that you remember, कुछ भी याद है? हाँ, speak absolute truth. भगवान के बारे में बोलो. That's all. There is no bigger austerity of speech than to speak about God. Yes. Yeah. Anudvega. Don't instigate others. हाँ, speak when needed. जब बात करनी है तभी करो, बाद में. बाकी time, no, you don't. We speak only when needed. Okay. No skeptical, judgmental, sarcasm. All these things we had discussed last time. Because Twitter, what is all that? Yes, that is why no control over speech. Oh yeah, people just go about saying, or people write mails. Correct? Okay, so that is controlling the speech. The most important aspect of controlling speech is to recite shlokas. Correct? Recite shlokas, studying the scriptures, reciting out. That is something which will purify. We have a group. It's an international group called CHAD. Chapter a day. Gita chapter a day group. Now this started by His Grace Vaishashika Prabhu, is a Srila Prabhupada disciple. So they come together and they study one chapter of Gita. It can be only shlokas. It can be only translation, or it can be shloka plus translation with purport, everything, depending on the time that one has. So there are some groups which they ensure they recite one chapter, pura Gita ka. Of course, second chapter or 18 chapter thoda bada hai, to usko split karte hain. But otherwise, one chapter a day. You know, what a formula to come in touch. So this is something that will there's a very good austerity for our speech. So today we are going to see the most difficult austerity. Okay, mind का पहले बॉडी कर ले, उसके बाद स्पीच, उसके बाद माइंड. बहुत दूर की बात है. It's a very very far-fetched thing, but what to do? This is the time to get knowledge. So at least प्राप्त कर लेते हैं. Let's at least try to understand. Because ultimately, what Bhagwan tells in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, is to ultimately this process of Krishna consciousness is for what? It's for the mind. But we cannot approach the mind directly. We have to approach the mind through senses. For example, abhi a fan. Okay, this fan is going on. I'm liking it. But suppose isko band karna hai. Person will not just stand up here and hold it. Band karna hai fan. What will happen? It will bleed. The blade, fan ke blades, इसलिए उसको blade बोला गया है. You just hold the fan, it will bleed. That's not the way to stop the fan. This is the way. We will go to, अरे क्या पागल क्या कर रहे हो? फैन रोकना है तेरे को, तू उधर क्यों जा रहा है? Wait, I'm going in the right direction. So although I want to stop the fan, I know the regulator is there. कम करना है या stop करना? हाँ, कम करना है. ठीक है. टक एक कम किया. अभी ठीक है. Now is it fine now? हाँ, अभी now good. Very nice. थोड़ा और कम हो सकता है. हाँ, ठीक है, थोड़ा और कम. हाँ, साउंड भी अभी एक प्लेजेंट सा एक्सपीरियंस आ रहा है, वरना समटाइम्स it's cold. And sometimes number is there, the fan sound comes. I remember a professor we used to have in the college. As soon as he would enter. Now, I studied in NIT Trichy. Those of you who have never been to Trichy, you're fortunate. Because Trichy is known for only 3 things. You're fortunate and unfortunate. You're fortunate because you never have to take the heat, because there is only 3 climates there. Hot, hotter, hottest. इसके अलावा कुछ नहीं मिलेगा वहां पे. दिन में हॉट, रात को हॉट, हर जगह हॉट. रेनी सीजन में भी गर्मी. बारिश गिर रही है फिर भी पसीना यहाँ से भी आता है. That's how the climate is. Terrific heat. वहां पे, and we had to travel in cycles to go to the lecture. बहुत दूर रहता था. Some hostel to lecture hall was very very far, and you had to go in that heat. You had to wear cap. Cap नहीं पहना तो stroke. I have seen many guys falling, wicket गिरते हुए मेरे सामने ठप करके गिर गया. Happens. And you rush people to the hospital. Huh? क्या करें? That's a very complicated question. I'll answer at the end of this class. I will answer. इसलिए so the professor used to, despite that, he used to come and push the fans to 3. 5 से 3 करो. Practical application of class. मुझे ही. Thank you. I caught the person. Okay. I'm okay. I'm all right with anything. I don't need it. It's fine. It's not my need. But pasina nikalta है. I mean, pasina nikalta is good. It's good to perspire. But still, I'm telling you, in case I start perspiring, we'll turn it. Okay. Otherwise, nahi, kuch nahi. So point is, the first thing Prabhu he used to do, sir used to come and do, is put all the fans to 3. Khatam. That's the greatest austerity of body we had to do. So he would do that. So there is a regulation. So we cannot directly go to the mind and catch. Mind is like that fan. But the way to regulate the mind is first to go to the switchboard, which is the senses and the speech. Udhar jao. Udhar karoge to ye karna aasan hai. Now can I hold the fan? Yeah. Koi bhi kar lega. Abhi lagega nahi. Will not do it. Don't try. Please. Ye try kar liya. Don't just go and hold it. Abhi hold kar sakte hain. We can do anything. It was an example. All right. Okay. So others, please turn on your videos. I would like to see all of your wonderful faces. Please turn it on. So now let's go to the austerity of mind. So anytime we face that our austerity of mind, it's because we have not done the previous homework. Yes. Algebra comes before calculus. A person cannot directly go to calculus class and start solving problems. No, first has to go to algebra. Before that, he has to learn numbers. So that's how we go systematically. Pehle body, फिर speech, फिर mind. So application हमेशा body से start होगा और उसके लिए we'll struggle for that also. But anyways, we should know what is exactly the austerity of mind. So let's go to 17th chapter, shloka number 16. Hopefully we'll try for a good coverage today. देखते हैं what is Hari Ichha. Please repeat after me. मन प्रसादः सौम्यत्वं मौनमात्मविनिग्रहः भावसंशुद्धिरित्येतत् तपो मानसमुच्यते. हरे कृष्ण. तपो मानसम उच्यते. इसको क्या कहते हैं? उच्यते means it is said what? Tapo manasam. The austerity of mind. What is all that? What exactly are the austerities of mind? Yes, the first thing is mana prasadam. Prasad. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. खा के हैं आप लोग कुछ? You had something morning? Hopefully, yes. नहीं तो कोई बात नहीं, क्लास के बाद खा लेना. Prasad. This is the favorite. इसी के लिए आते. This is one reason people come. Yes. Peace आ के लिए पिज्जा देना है तो हम ready है. There's no problem. But आ जाए. Let people come. So prasad means actually mercy. Mercy of God is called as prasad. But in this context, mana prasadam means satisfaction of mind. When mind is satisfied. Now this is something which is very difficult. बहुत मुश्किल है ना? To be satisfied in this world. Shastras say that one has to be satisfied with 3 things in one's life. You know, what are 3 things we should be satisfied? And there are 3 things we should not be satisfied. The 3 things which we should be satisfied is number 1, bhojanam. The food that we are getting on the plate. सामने, अरे ये क्या आ गया? मैं सोचा पिज़्ज़ा आएगा. What is this? Dal chawal. Yes. So that's the first thing, bhojanam. Number 2, dhanam. That's the second thing. Whatever wealth is coming as per one's karma, be satisfied. Let's manage life around this. So it's good to be satisfied with that. You do your best, work your best. Yes, you can aspire for promotions, you can aspire for higher prospects, but still then at the end of the month, at the end of the day nahi milta na, salary end of the month milta hai. So at the end of the month, whatever comes, be satisfied. Yes, this is what is there in my prarabdha. This is there in my karma. So that is mana prasada. Yes. And the third aspect that one has to be satisfied with is one's own spouse. Yes, Ravana is an example of not being satisfied with not only just one's own spouse. Mandodari had a very beautiful, cultured and religious wife, Mandodari. But still he was aspiring for another man's wife. So these 3 things Shastras say we have to be satisfied. Yes, bhojanam, dhanam and bharya. And 3 things you should never be satisfied with. What is that? Huh? Knowledge. Okay, not bad. You're coming close. Here, you're right. Shravanam. The knowledge that you get. Yes, Shravanam. How much knowledge you're acquiring. Never be satisfied. You should always have dil mange more. Okay. What was yours? सर्विस, सेवा. सेवा के साथ कभी भी सेटिस्फाइड नहीं होना चाहिए. अरे इतनी से नोबडी से, अरे बहुत इतना कर दिया, इतना सेवा किया मैंने आज, आई एम टायर्ड, आई एम एग्जॉस्टेड. नो, सेवा से कभी भी सेटिस्फाइड नहीं होना चाहिए. बहुत कम किया है प्रभु जी, और करना है. दैट मच सेवा भाव वी शुड हैव. एंड थर्ड, कीर्तन, नाम जप, द चैंटिंग. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So Prabhupada was once asked a question that when do you say that you have developed the right mood of chanting? We have done the right mood of chanting. We have actually chanted properly. Kab bol sakte hain? So Prabhupada said, when you ask the question is, why only 16 rounds? Why not 16,000 rounds? Jab wo mood aayega na, that consciousness, that is the time when we have actually reached a perfection of chanting. Very good. Others, हम लोग 16 के बाद एक बार क्या हुआ, there was a student center and everyone was chanting. We chant in circles. The reason of chanting in circles is कोई झपकी लिया तो हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा. They प्रेम से एकदम हरे राम. So there was once what happened, like this chanting was going on. So अचानक से ठप करके एक आवाज आई. One fellow fell down. I बोला क्या हुआ? Some people reach with water also. कुछ डालना है क्या? And he says 16 माला हो गया. आज मुक्त हो गए हम. Today I am liberated soul. My 16 rounds are over today. Yes. हाँ, ऐसे ही लगता है, लेकिन ऐसा जब तक लग रहा है we are not yet perfect. हमें और दूर जाना है. The more we feel we don't need association, the more we need association. The more we feel we don't need chanting, अरे क्या chanting की जरूरत है, the more we need chanting. Yes. So जब तक वो mood नहीं आएगा, when, how many, why only 16? Why not 16,000? So this is something we should never be satisfied with. What is that? Shravan, Seva, and Kirtan. Okay. So now, how exactly does one develop this satisfaction? It's very important. So Prabhupada says this kind of satisfaction will come in one's life very much when one does not indulge in sense gratification. We all know, yes. Service means when you're actually engaging your body and you're engaging your body, like you're practically picking up. Yeah, ultimately everything is service, but Shastras classify Shravan Kirtan as different from service. So, seva, pocha karna, bartan karna, practical some services in from the bodily platform. That one should never be satisfied. Arey mujhe kam seva mila. Hanuman was never satisfied with service. He used to always aspire for service. So that is mana prasadam. When you detach from sense gratification is called bhoga vritti. It's called, and this is very common. When you're going in the flight, which seat we want? Obviously. Abhi there is a cake. Okay, pastry. Badi si pastry hai, lekin pastry ke beech mein cherry hai. Yes, and thus there is one piece that contains cherry and others don't have cherry. Which piece you want? Cherry wala. Obviously. बहुत कम लोग होते हैं जो बोलते हैं मेरे को चेरी अच्छी नहीं लगती. People want, if it's that soaked one, right? Not the original cherry. Original cherry is very austere. Tapasya hai wo. But actually many people put it in polysaccharides and a lot of fluids. उसको sugar coat करते हैं. तो actually वो sugar होता है. That cherry is sugar, full of sugar. तो वो cherry सबको अच्छा लगता है. So वो piece, cherry वाला piece, हाँ. So bhog vritti is very natural for all of us. लेकिन this bhog vritti will take away the satisfaction of our mind. Yes, the more we plan for enjoyment, the more we want to grabbing mentality. ये रहेगा उसका चला जाएगा. Yes, that's why Ravana was never satisfied, because Ravana is personification of bhog vritti. Ravana was looking at Narad Muni. अरे वाह, देख उसके पास कुछ भी नहीं है. He doesn't have bank balance. He is not married also. ब्रह्मचारी है. He doesn't have kingdom. मेरे पास सोने की लंका है. I have so many women. उसके पास कुछ भी नहीं है, घर भी नहीं है. He doesn't have residence also. But still, देखो, he is satisfied. Yeah, he is satisfied. Once there was a man who we were traveling together. And what happened was I was wearing a particular kurta and dhoti. And कभी-कभी हो जाता है, हम लोग we get ready in the morning in अंधेरा. Light नहीं on करते हैं. Like we directly see the light of the Lord. So I don't have a habit of getting ready in the, so जो धोती कुर्ता मिला पहन लिया. And then I had a flight in the morning. So मैं जा रहा था. And this person was looking at me. So I looked at him, this fellow took away his nazar. Then second again he was looking at me. I looked, I smiled. I said, Hare Krishna. And he said, your shirt and your, he couldn't call it dhoti, he called it a bed sheet. The color doesn't match. I said, oh, thank you. Glad you noticed. I'll change that before I go for the program. कुर्ता और धोती का कलर मैच नहीं कर रहा बोला. ठीक है, okay, I note, thank you for noticing it. I didn't notice. मेरे पास टाइम नहीं था, मैं जब कंप्लीट कर रहा था अपना. Right? So I didn't notice. Thank you for sharing. And then that fellow, he started to share about himself. बात करने का मौका था, मेरा माला रख के मुझे बात सुनना पड़ा. What to do? It is said that brahmachari's life कैसा है? Brahmachari's life is on the asana, he has to speak a lot. Once he gets down, then he has to hear a lot. उसके बाद सुनना ही जीवन बन जाता है. सबका सुनो, हाँ जी के बोलो. तो आसन तो प्रवचन देते हैं. We speak. You get off the asana, then you have to hear everyone's कथा. बोलो आप भी बोलो. चलो आपका टाइम है अभी. Then he started speaking. He's saying that he's very, very rich. Damn rich. फिर उसके फैमिली का फोटो, all beautiful wife, wonderful children. He was showing the photograph in mobile. मैं देखता जा रहा हूँ. Okay. Then he showed about his business. कहाँ कहाँ है उसका. बढ़िया बढ़िया है जगह. I said all right. Okay. ऐसा बोलता रहा. Everything he was telling. And the end he said, but I'm not happy. I'm not satisfied. After saying this, then he says, why did I tell you all this? तुमको ये सब क्यों बोला मैंने? Why did I tell you? Then he went off. Then I okay, fine, no problem. I'll chant. I said, okay, don't worry. You also ultimately chant. मैंने भी 2-3 शब्द बोले, chanting करना है ऐसे करके. So all of a sudden, yes, I got it. No, what did you get? The answer to my question, why I shared this with you. That is because you look satisfied. He told you look satisfied. So this satisfaction is something Narad Muni's satisfaction. Ravana was able to see. Doesn't come by possessing of things. And the more one has enjoying spirit, see, one may possess many things. But what is wrong and condemned in Shastras is enjoying spirit. That is not possession. Enjoying spirit, bhoga vritti is condemned. Then one will not be able to have this satisfaction. Mana prasada. So that is first thing. So this lesson of this mana prasada comes in a beautiful section. I can't tell the whole section, but I'll just mention it. Krishna teaches satisfaction or detachment. There is a detachment from enjoyment to Uddhava in Uddhav Gita. Uddhav Gita is Bhagavad Gita ka baap. It's much deeper. Very tough. Uddhav Gita. Very few devotees can understand that also. It's very tough. I'm slowly, bite by bite studying it. So usme he teaches this from Pingala, the prostitute. A prostitute say he teaches detachment, Krishna. Very intelligent teacher. Example is itna interesting, everyone would like to read. A Pingala prostitute, what is that story? Through that he teaches detachment. And that detachment gave Pingala the satisfaction of mind. I can't tell the whole thing right now, but I just gave a hint. Someday, एक दिन आएगा ऐसा, हम लोग फॉरेस्ट काउंटी में बैठ के विल बी डिस्कसिंग 11th कैंटो भागवतम. आ सकता है एक दिन इस लाइफ में, पता नहीं. तब जाके we will try to study the Pingala section. It's a beautiful section. Krishna teaching Uddhava, 11th canto. बहुत लोग उधर तक पहुंचते भी नहीं है. It's very difficult to reach there. Durlabh. Right? So Pingala. First time I had studied, I loved that section. It's a beautiful section. I was also intrigued. Krishna is talking about prostitute, that too learning from prostitute. But the lesson is very deep. Her reflections are very good. Right? So next is Saumyatvam. Now Saumyatvam means simplicity. At the same time, Saumyatvam means non-duplicitous. मतलब अंदर कुछ और, अंदर से कुछ और खुल रहा है. The greatest example for this is Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra, when all 5 Pandavas had come after the end of the war, Dhritarashtra was saying, Yudhishthir, come, embrace me. He embraced. Arjun, आ जाओ. Nakul, Sahadev, दोनों एक साथ आ जाओ. छोटे-छोटे हैं. Bhim, you are not coming. What was there in his mind? What was there in his mind? He wants to crush. This is called duplicity. He was calling him to embrace, but what he wanted? He wanted to crush. And Bhim was going, Krishna was there. Krishna said, no, don't go. Bhaiya, he'll crush. He is powerful. Andha hai, lekin bahut shakti hai uske paas. He is very powerful. So Duryodhana used to practice his mace with a stone. No, he had made a एग्जैक्ट स्टेचर ऑफ भीमा, भीमा का एग्जैक्ट सेम हाइट सेम स्ट्रेंथ जैसा एक स्ट्रक्चर बनाया था, एंड यूज्ड टू प्रैक्टिस बीटिंग भीमा, और उसको बहुत सेटिस्फेक्शन मिलता था उससे, राइट, यूज्ड टू बीट, उसको आगे किया, एंड धृतराष्ट्र व्हाट डिड ही टच्ड एंड सॉ, अरे स्टील फ्रेम बॉडी, ये भीम ही है, like that. Duryodhana, he remembered Duryodhana and crushed. So this is what? This is asaumyatvam. So now very unfortunately, the TV serials, web series, they all promote such ideas only. Person something else, they show na dialogue. Man mein aisa soch raha hai wo. And outside they behave very sweetly. Like that, but inside the mind, हाँ देखो इसको है ना, इसको मजा चकाते हैं, इसको छोड़ना नहीं है. This is what is taught, and we are receiving education from that. हम सीख रहे हैं, we are listening, we are watching, we are giving time, we are attentively hearing it. It is said that when the television is on, or anything happening on the screen event is on, that point of time we get into a state of hypnosis. हाँ exactly, सब अंदर जाता है, it goes inside as it is. एकदम we get into alpha state, we get hypnotized, charmed, एकदम stun होके the everything goes inside the system. That's how we pick it up. बहुत मुश्किल है. So this is what is trained. So what Shastras say, the beginning of bhakti, Krishna consciousness, you can start only with saralata, simplicity. When you attain saumyatvam, that is when you can begin. That's why Srila Prabhupada's guru, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, would say, bhakti kya hai? What is Krishna consciousness? Saralata hi Vaishnavata hai. Simplicity. Now it's very difficult to be simple. Many of them say, Prabhuji, bhakti bahut mushkil hai, Prabhuji. Very tough to do this bhakti, Krishna consciousness. Jo bhi Gita, Bhagavatam, kya hai? Very, very difficult. It's not difficult. It is simple for the simple. It is difficult because we have become complicated. हम लोग complicate हो चुके हैं. Thanks to all this social media and all this stuff. हम लोग बहुत complicated mindset वाले हो चुके हैं, and that's why we are suffering and struggling. Right? So saumyatvam. Next is maunam. Now maunam means what? Finger on the lips. That's called maunam, but that is not the meaning of maunam. Even in speech, in aspect of speech, when we refer to maunam, we don't refer to silence. Yeah, that is one thing. And speaking absolute truth is actual. Not talking nonsense is called maunam. So similarly, what is maunam in the aspect of mind? What you can think about it? हाँ, क्या है वो exactly? That will come next. Not dwelling on nonsensical thoughts. Yes. Some people have, now this is very famous, FOMO. You heard of this? FOMO? Fear of missing out. Or overthinking. People get into overthinking. OCD. Obsessive compulsive disorder. So all these things are what? This is lack of maunam. There's no lack of gravity. We don't know how to shut it. So there's a frivolous chit-chat going on in the mind. Just say, for example, classman, suppose there is a classroom. This is a classroom. Yeah, this is a nice classroom. I'm liking this classroom very much. So before the teacher comes, सब लोग अपने अपने धुन में, अपने दुनिया में. लेकिन as soon as teacher comes, then there is no more frivolity. Okay, अभी गंभीर मामला है. It's going to be a serious discussion going on. So that is how, even in the mind also does a lot of chattering and chit chat. But to silence that, no. And focus on Gambhir Vishay. And yes, we can lead the mind to constructive thoughts. Let's have constructive thoughts. That is called as Maunam. Yes, and ये सब करना तभी possible है जब we do austerity of body and speech. Directly नहीं हो पाएगा. Right? So this is, Prabhupada says, doing welfare activity for others. And what is the highest welfare? That is the way to do gravity. What is the highest welfare activity you can do? That's it. To give Krishna consciousness to others is the highest welfare activity. So we are all thinking, the residents of Forest County are thinking how to get sincere, serious, and more residents to come and join this forum. That is gravity of thought. Introducing others to Krishna consciousness. Right? Usko gravity of thought. Tab jaake gravity aati hai. That's when gravity will come in our thought. So welfare for others. So there's a suggestion given to all of you. Give nice prasad. Automatically crowd will increase. We'll do it together. Don't worry. Collaboration. I differ from that. At least प्रसाद के लिए लोग आते हैं. I've seen.
हाँ मतलब people like have little bit of but otherwise I have seen like with my friends, right? If I say कि party है like earlier I used to do. सब लोग आ जाते हैं. मैंने बोला गीता क्लास है तो कोई नहीं आता. तो वैसे ही है.
हाँ वैसे बोलिए कि पार्टी है, जो लोग गीता क्लास करेंगे उनके लिए पार्टी है. That's why at least some people will come. No, we have to give best of everything. All right. So Krishna consciousness is called serious fun. Serious भी है, fun भी है. Yes. हम भी पहले प्रसाद के लिए ही जाते थे प्रभु जी. We are all the same case. Online participants लेकिन बहुत serious है. Those who come online, right? Very very serious people. क्यों उधर प्रसाद मिलता नहीं है, फिर भी आते हैं. That's why this kind of preaching makes very serious people, because they don't have anything, right? They just come for listening. That's why this online crowd, no? Very serious people. आप सब लोग चलो आपके लिए ताली बजाते हैं. Reactions. I'll give nice reaction. Okay. Because motivation नहीं होता कुछ. Others, I've seen some people, even in BYC when we have program, they wait down. They know exactly. इसके बाद कीर्तन होगा, कीर्तन के बाद प्रसाद चालू होगा. So they wait for the fast कीर्तन. Fast कीर्तन में they get ready and they call their friends also. चलो fast कीर्तन start हो गया. And some people stand in line and call, चलो चलो जल्दी जल्दी आओ, प्रसाद शुरू हो चुका है, खत्म होने वाला है, जल्दी आओ. That's fine, no worries. बड़ा कुछ नहीं है उसमें. But the point is, Maunam means somehow how we can get this gravity is to engage thought. And this is actually the process of a very serious devotee. A very serious and advanced devotee is always meditating how to spread this Krishna consciousness. Kis prakar se, how to make the whole creation Krishna conscious. That's the only thought that goes on in the mind of a very serious devotee. Yes. Next is, I have. The next one is Atma Vinigraha. Atma Vinigraha. Some funny comment on the DM. I'm not reading it. Atma Vinigraha. What is Atma Vinigraha? Atma Vinigraha is exactly like mother and a child's play. Yes, yesterday I had gone to the drama festival, which happened in VIT. So there were mothers and fathers who came with small kids. And Jesse, there was one mother sitting beside, and I was observing. So mother, as soon as she went, she told the husband, "Mujhe dekhna hai drama, bachchi tum sambhalo." She gave the kid in the hands of her husband, and this fellow was sitting like this. And she somehow didn't have seat also. He was somehow sitting here and there. And what the kid was really small kid and a very naughty one. So it jak karke the kid will run away. And the father, he's not looking at drama, he's looking at the kid there, भाग रहा है, बच्चे को लेके वापिस आ रहा है. The kid would cry, he would take the kid out because not to disturb others. ऐसे करके वापिस, the kid would go this side, hey, पकड़ के लाओ, वापिस लेके आओ. आरू हो, आद्या हो, anyone, it's all the same. अच्छा, आद्या अलग, okay, आरू story. We get to know this. How many of you attended the drama festival yesterday? I think I'm the only one. Jana Deta, only Krishna Kumar Pro was there. I saw. Huh? We didn't know. I think you all should be part of BYC group. We cancelled study circle also for drama festival. Why? वो नहीं बताया. Oh, because I went for drama. I wanted you all to go, and I'll peacefully study. But लेकिन क्या हुआ था? We should attend such festivals. Okay, there was a reason also to cancel. No problem. लेकिन जाना चाहिए था. So there I could see. हम लोग जहाँ मिलती है शिक्षा सीख लेते हैं. And so this is what mind will go, duck like that, but you have to bring it back. That is the game we have to play till the time the mind becomes controlled. It may बच्चे के लिए 3 years, mind के लिए 30 साल, 300 years, 3 lifetimes, we don't know. Yes. Yeah. Yes, Vishwakarma में ना. I'm not on the group, but I know what happens in the group. No, I only tell no what to do in the group. So that is like Krishna. He's not in the material world. He knows everything that is happening in material world. So today also it is there. But today ticket will be available, Prabhu. ब्रह्मचारी लोगों को ही नहीं मिल रहा था लास्ट में कैसे करके गया आई कॉल टू द टू डिवोटीज टू ब्रह्मचारी सिंह प्रभु जी हमें टिकट नहीं मिल रहा आश्रम से नहीं मिला आई सेड डोंट वरी यू कम आई विल गिव यू माय टिकट अगर नहीं मिलता तो ऐसे गया भाई वापिस आ जाऊंगा नो प्रॉब्लम आई वेंट देयर बिकॉज माय फ्रेंड्स एंड सीनियर्स वर कॉलिंग आजा बोल के यू हैव टू अटेंड बोल के दैट्स ओनली रीजन आई and it was just drama. There were two dramas which were shown. One was about Punarutthan, Ajamila story. And another one was Maro Savariya Sarkar. Maro Savariya Sarkar. That is the story of Shri Radha Govind Dev. So they had made it very dramatic and very good. It was good. Very good. And that was done by ISKCON Vishal Nagar, Kanai Thakur's group. तो मैं सोच रहा था हम लोग खराड़ी कब होगा ऊपर स्टेज पे one day. That is for youth, boys. Golibar मैदान. नहीं, boys and girls, youth. Some of you fall. अभी youth is, you cannot define youth, है ना? हर कोई सोचते हम youth ही है. So I don't know. You all can try. Registration is there. So Golibar मैदान में they are having. Kuch Bihari Temple is hosting.
Just is an announcement actually.
So today also drama festival is there. If tickets are available, we'll put in the group. Devotees can go. Today is going to be a Gujarati one. But Gujarati mein nahi hoga. The title is Gujarati. Like Mara Savariya Sarkar was little. Some of the dialogues were in Marwadi, Rajasthani language. Similarly, it is there. We'll see. So we'll come back. We have to bring back the mind. So let's bring back the minds to the class. That is Atma Vinigraha. बच्चे की तरह बच्चा जाएगा लेके आना है. But this is the way to get the mind back. अभी बच्चा तो nature है वो जाते रहेगा. One day बच्चा grows up. But mind is something that we have to keep doing it till the time the mind stays in one place. Yeah. Next is Bhava Samshuddhi. Bhava Samshuddhi. What is Bhav? Bhava is again, Bhava is the emotion, feelings. It's called Bhava. Samshuddhi means to, Shuddhi means purify. Samshuddhi means completely purify. Sam. English wale hai na sam. Samshuddhi. How to do that? That is done when the mind thinks only about Krishna. That is what? Maya saktamana partha yogam yunjan madashraya asamsaya samagram mam yatha jnasasi tachshunu. Yes, mind thinks only about Krishna. That is called as Bhava Samshuddhi. And that can happen. Recently, in one of the Gita class, I was giving an example. I was giving an example of a very rich businessman. And this businessman was, he had a wife and a kid. Okay, and they had a very loving relationship. And one day, the businessman found out that his child is in the night coughing and vomiting. Health is not good. And next day, the businessman has very, very important meetings to attend. So he is telling him, I will cancel all that. I will be with the child. The wife tells, no, you go, I'll take care of the child. So are you sure? Yes, I will take care. Doctor ke paas, I will take care. Don't worry. So he goes. But even while going, he's going to the car, he's driving to the office, to his workplace. What is he thinking about? The child. And then even after he goes there, he meets all his clients, he's meeting everybody. But whom is he thinking about? The child. Again, after that, he's having, in between, so now it's time for lunch. He says, excuse me, I'll just come back. He calls his wife. He's in between also. Hey, kya hua? How is it? Doctor ke paas mila ki nahi? Appointment mila nahi abhi tak. Hey, jaldi karo. Kya hai ye? Make it fast. Otherwise, you want me to come? No. I will take care. Okay, fine. Then he has lunch. All the while he's thinking about is the child. Then again, while coming back, immediately after lunch, he calls. Hua kya? Haan, doctor ne kya bola? What is it? What is the problem? So he's very, very serious and he's asking, kya chal raha hai? I want to know every detail. Tell me everything that the doctor told. So then finally, okay, fine. He's all right. Again, while leaving from office, should I get something for the child? What can I do? Nahi, sab theek hai. So medicine hai sab kuch. So although the person has spent an entire day busily with all his engagements, but still his mind was completely in the child. That is what a devotee aspires. That is bhava samshuddhi. Where a devotee also may externally do many chores, business, his work, and other responsibilities, but the mind is always thinking about Krishna. This is called as bhava samshuddhi. This is called bhava samshuddhi. Correct? And the greatest example for this is Ambarish Maharaj. Now, today we find people as rulers of a small state, yes, a small country, something like that. But if you see, originally the kings were samrats. They were called samrat. They were samrats of the entire world, not just this small globe that you see, much more than that, the entire Bhu Mandal. Example was Ambarish Maharaj. He comes as an ancestor of Lord Ram in the Suryavamsh dynasty, Ambarish. So the introduction of Ambarish is his mind was always with Krishna. So when this section was going on, there was a brahmachari sitting beside me. He was telling, Prabhuji, मैं तो एक लॉकर नहीं मैनेज कर पाता. Yes, brahmachari is given one locker. Yeah, we are trained. When we join, this is a locker. आपको जो भी करना है, इस space में manage करना है. To manage your space. Bedding, yes, bedding is foldable. 6x3, one foam. उस पे सोना है. That's a bedding. You fold it and keep it on top of your locker. So the top space of locker will have our books. The middle space will have our worship paraphernalia, and down will be our dresses. That's it. ये दुनिया है. Now also I have one locker like this. है ना, पहले वर्टिकल था, अभी हॉरिजॉन्टल लॉकर है मेरे पास. इसके अंदर इट्स ऑल व्हेन वी ट्रैवल आल्सो वी हैव वन बैग. तो इतना ही ना हो गया, यही है लाइफ. दिस इज लाइफ, नथिंग एल्स. या सो why I told you this? Ambarish Maharaj is the king of the whole world. He's managing. Sometimes you would say my locker also cannot be managed. In training days, na, of brahmachari life, our trainer would come and check nails, lockers, hair, ये सब starting में. So locker का भी checking होता था, because how you manage that space shows your consciousness. Yes, how you folded your beddings, the way you wear dhoti kurta, the kind of clean shave, clean face, all these things used to be checked. तो उसमें लॉकर ओपन करते थे. इसका लॉकर मेसी, उसका लाइफ मेसी. इट्स फैक्ट. उसका घर मेसी, उसका लाइफ मेसी. उसका रूम मेसी, उसका लाइफ मेसी. We can just look at externals and find out what is going on inside. And a spiritualist develops inner strength to control things outside. And Ambarish Maharaj, what his job was, his duty was Savai Mana Krishna Padaravindiyo. That's all. His mind was always filled with Krishna, and thus his entire subject, everybody, all his citizens, subjects, all of them, you would ask them, take a mic, what's the goal of your life? They would say, to go back home, back to Godhead. Because that's the way he managed. He steered with his wonderful example. And that is Ambarish Maharaj. Yes, bhava samsuddhi. This comes with practice. Again, Krishna consciousness, everything comes with practice. There's nothing called innate, inborn talent, bhakti, which means you have to practice. And in Kali Yuga, bhava samshuddhi is possible only by chanting the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So now what we'll be doing is we will be reciting the 17th chapter. Dam hai? Yeah. Battery drained, battery charged. Charge karna hai? Yeah. So we'll recite 17, 18, 19. तीनों एक साथ करेंगे. We'll recite one after the other. And then each of you can take turns to read out the meaning, and we'll just discuss that. So I'll show you. And with that, we'll conclude. 17.17. Shraddhaya paraya taptam tapastatri vidham nare afalakankshibiryuktai satvikam parichakshate. Translation.
This threefold austerity, performed with transcendental faith by men, not expecting material benefits, but engaged only for the sake of the Supreme, is called austerity in goodness.
Very good. Next. Sakkaramana pujartham tapodambhena chaiva ya kriyate tad iha proktam rajasam chalamadruvam. Translation. Yeah, read.
Penance performed out of pride and for the sake of gaining respect, honor, and worship is said to be in the mode of passion. It is neither stable nor permanent.
Last. Mudagrahanatma Mudagrahenatmano yat पीडया क्रियते तपः परस्योत्सादनार्थं वा तत्तामसमुदाहृतम्. Yes.
Penance performed out of foolishness, with self-torture, or to destroy or injure others is said to be in the mode of ignorance.
Okay. So now this was about the austerity or penance. We discussed 3 types of austerities, which is body, speech, and mind. Now these are austerities classified based on faith. Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. We'll just discuss a few examples of this and we'll conclude. So Sattviki is what? Shraddhaya Paraya. Paraya means transcendental. Divya ek Shraddha hai usme. Shraddhaya Paraya Taptam. So one who's doing tapasya with a divine transcendental faith. Tapas Trividham Narai. He may do all 3 taps in that same faith. Afala Kangshivi. Now this is true for every single item of goodness, whether it be vrat, whether it be tap, it be yajna, dan. What is it? Afala Kangshivi. It doesn't want anything in return. He doesn't want any material desire. Yuktai. So that is Sattvika. Sattvika is afala Kangshivi. This is very common in everything. And we see so many of them who have done tapasya in this mode. Brahmaji, in the beginning of creation. This creation is a result of tapasya. Tapa, he heard. That's it. He did such a wonderful tapasya, which was in goodness. Krishna came to shake hands with him. Congratulate him. Yes, congrats. So handshake is Vedic. कुछ लोग बोलते हैं handshake, तो अंग्रेज लोगों ने जो है invent किया. No. Karasprashan it is called. Karasprashan. Kara को स्पर्श करना. So that's what he gave the first handshake to Brahma, congratulating him for his tapasya. So this was in goodness. Right? Because what? Shraddhaya. He understood. He was getting tapa. Yes, this tap मैं करूंगा. And then Krishna comes and reveals वो tap कौन बोला था, पता है? कौन बोलता? अरे मैं नहीं बोला था. अच्छा आपने कहा था. Okay. That's when he gets the inspiration to create. Right? So that is one thing. Brahma is a wonderful example. Even if you look at Shiva, Shiva is also, if you see Shiva's pose, what is he doing in Kailash? Tapasya. Actually, Shiva, as soon as he was born, Brahmaji, he was crying. His name was Rudra. He was crying. ठीक है? And he was crying. क्या करे इसको? तो इसको शादी करा देते हैं. Then he stopped. And he stopped crying. In this world, experience is ulta thoda. शादी के बाद रोता है. Just joking. That's what some married person told me. मेरा नहीं है. मेरा कोई realization नहीं. I don't have realization of this. I can't speak, but I heard like that. इस दुनिया में बड़ा उल्टा होता है पूरा कैसे. When I was speaking this only, the person he spoke back. अरे इसमें कोई रोता है फिर. वो शांत हो गया. ये क्यों रो रहा है? Like that. So, but and then what happened? He was empowered with service. So he started destroying everything. तर ब्रह्माजी told चुपचाप जाके तपस्या करो. But the tapasya that he performs is in goodness. Rudra, good example. Another is tapasya of Bhagirath, we hear. He didn't want anything for himself. But he wanted Ganga to descend not only for his, but for everybody's welfare. Imagine without him, there won't be Ganga for us to take bath. Yes? So Bhagirath ki tapasya. And if you see, even Naranarayan Rishi are Krishna and Arjuna only in the Satyug. They come and they stay in a kshetra called Badrika Ashram. They're Krishna and Arjuna. But they specially come to teach how to do Satviki tapasya. सही से कैसे तपस्या करना चाहिए. To teach that they come. So in Kali Yuga, what is tapasya? Yes. Is tapasya?
I'm saying that Kali Yuga people do this way.
Okay. Was that tapasya? But
it's not tapasya, like reverse of tapasya.
Tapasya in Kali Yuga means to follow the 4 regulative principles. No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. That is the only tapasya. इसके अलावा भाई कुछ नहीं कर सकते आप लोग. शास्त्रा से क्लियरली टोल्ड, यूजलेस फेलोस, यू कांट डू, ये 4 चीज करो बस. ये सबसे बड़ा तप हो गया आप लोगों का. So this is the tapasya in Kali Yuga. Okay. So now we go to the Rajasic tap. So now here we understood. Now next, what is the Rajasic tapasya? Satkar, man, pujartam. What is it? What is his desire? Why is doing tapasya? सत्कार प्राप्त होगा, सब आदर सत्कार करेंगे, मेरा मान बढ़ेगा. Everyone come and worship my lotus feet. They'll come and I'll give blessings. I'll become big Baba. Yes, once there is a sannyasi in our movement. He is no more. He left his body. His Holiness Gaur Krishnadas Goswami Maharaj. So we are all with him. He was telling, भगवान बनना आसान है, भगवान का भक्त बनना मुश्किल है. It's very difficult to become devotee, but it's very easy to become God. And we were bewildered, young brahmacharis. We asked him, oh, Maharaj, what are you saying? We are not able to understand. He said, don't worry. He told me, tum kya karo? He is Bihari, so in his very Bihari accented Bihari, tum kya karo? Like that he was telling. Very sweetly he was speaking. Udhar jaakar baith jao. Bas. बैठने के बाद I was asking him also further what to do. He said, just go sit there and with one piece of cloth, you sit there like this and bas, शांति से रहो, एकदम मुस्कुराते रहो, शांत रहो. उसके बाद क्या होगा मूर्ख? उसके बाद लोग तुमसे मिलने आएंगे, उनको आशीर्वाद देना बस. उसके बाद I kept asking, I wanted to know more. उसके बाद क्या करेंगे? उसके बाद और लोग लेके आएंगे. उसके बाद एक पूरा माहौल जम जाएगा. People will stand in queue to have darshan. उसके बाद एक बड़ा सा और बड़ा मूर्ख आएगा जो आपके लिए बड़ा सा एक मंदिर बना देगा और आपको भगवान घोषणा की जाएगी. तो दुनिया भर से लोग आपका दर्शन करने आएगा. है ना बढ़िया? भगवान बनना कितना असर है. बस जाके बैठ जाओ उधर, ये ड्रेस में कुछ ऐसा ड्रेस पहन के, कुछ टीका वगैरह पहन के, बस थोड़ा बस में लेके बैठ जाओ, बस भगवान बन जाओगे. So becoming Bhagwan is easy, becoming devotee is tough. He was telling. So some people, for such kind of satkar man, they do tapasya. Next, tapo dambhena chaiva. Damba is out of false pride. Kriyate tad iha proktam. So they do it out of false pride. We had gone to Rishikesh, 2021, February. We had celebrated a success of distributing 10,000 books, 10,000 Bhagavad Gitas in COVID period. It was very amazing task. It was done by our team of BYC. You all come. You remember? You also had come. We had gone to Urli Kanchan together. So we had gone here also. Chaudhary Basti mein sab kiya tha. Usi ka natija. 10,000 books we distributed. And to celebrate that, youth, all they said, Prabhu, we want party in Rishikesh. So we had gone to Rishikesh Yatra. And Rishikesh, there was a famous place. That place is called Tatwala Baba. You were there, no? Tatwala Baba. So we wanted to know the story of Tatwala Baba. Tatwala Baba is a great yogi. Yes, and he was gaining a lot of reputation. Many foreigners coming from abroad to see his siddhis, to see his stage. So the yogi who was beside Tatwala Baba, he got envious. Can you imagine? He has come to do what? He has given up the world. He's given up all worldly pursuits and pleasures. And he has come actually to dedicate his life to find inner peace. But he got envious of Tatwala Baba. He took a gun, shot him, dead. Yogi, but competition, udhar bhi. So this is passion. This is typically what? Passion, Tatwala Baba. So one is just doing for prestige, power, fame, glory, and attracting followers. This is Rajasam Chalam Adruvam. Okay, then what is Tamasic? Last part of our discussion today. Muda Grahena Atmano Yat. The word Muda itself rings a bell. What is the meaning of Muda? Foolish. Foolish endeavor. Muda Grahena Atmano Yat Pidaya. In a foolish manner, Atmano Pidaya. Khud ko, sharir ko pida dena. Self-torture. This kind of tapasya. Who performed this kind of tapasya? Yes, this kind of tapasya, self-torturous tapasya was performed by Hiranyakashipu. Huh? Yeah, Ravana also. Ravana was actually doing self-torture yajna. That comes in yajna. Tapasya is Hiranyakashipu. Yeah, that is Virkasura also. He was cutting his flesh and offering. That is yajna. But tapasya who was doing self-pidayate kriyate tapah, that was Hiranyakashipu. He had not eaten anything. He had become very thin. Ants had eaten up his whole body. There was fire coming out of his head and he was standing with 2 hands. Self-torturous. And for what purpose? Parasya, दूसरों को utsadanartam, to destroy others. And what he wanted to do? He wanted to become immortal. And such kind of doing some penance to get something impossible is also called in ignorance. It's impossible. Brahma, he calls Brahma and says, Brahma, मेरे को अमर बना दो. Brahma बोलते मैं खुद नहीं हूँ अमर. तेरे को क्या बनाऊंगा मैं? I can't make you amar. I am not amar. कुछ है मेरे पास, I can give you. I am not. Ask something else. Then Hiranyakashipu thought he had big brains and he deduced a formula by which I'll be practically amar, in practical sense. So वैसे उसने try किया, but nothing worked out. Right? He was destroyed by Narsimdev. You all know the story. So this is Muda Grahena Atmana. He was foolishly doing such a tapasya. It was out of foolishness. The cause was foolish. The way in which he was doing was foolish. And his intention was foolish. Everything was foolish. Yes. Dhruv Maharaj, no, Dhruv Maharaj doesn't come under this category because Dhruv Maharaj did tapasya. He had material desires, definitely. His material desire was to get a kingdom better than his grandfather, but he accepted a Guru Narad Muni and he did exactly what Narada told him. And Narad Muni told him to make a form of Lord and do jap. Chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. He was chanting. He was not doing such meaningless and foolish tapasya like Hiranyakashipu. No. So Dhruva doesn't come under. Dhruva is mainly sattvic, but he had a flavor of passion because he had desire. But he wanted to see the Lord face to face. That's a very bona fide desire. Purpose of seeing Lord was to get something in return, but ultimately he was purified. Yeah, but tap is positive, but tap can be negative also. Tap is positive. Yeah, vrat. So now 17 chapters all about discussing the different types of vrat, yajna, tap and dan. Dan is yet to come. We'll discuss next class. So tap is actually meant for a purificatory purpose only. To voluntarily accept some inconvenience for advancement. That is called as tap. But tap can also have perversions. That's what Krishna is saying. One can get distracted even from such a glorious path. So tap is actually very pure. But the practitioner of tap may not be pure. That's what Krishna is saying. So tap is always good. Tap is required. But the practitioners may do it with different intentions, motivations. So Krishna is just exposing of those motivations with which one should not do. Okay? And so similarly, so like this foolishly one should not do tap. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Next time when we come, we'll discuss about the different dana, the 3 types of dan, and mostly we will try to conclude this chapter. We'll try. Prayas karenge. So that next to next class, we can start with 18th chapter. Anybody has any questions? Huh?
8 shlokas. No, 9.
हो जाएगा. दान भी ऐसे ही हो जाएगा. How much time I took for tap? That much time. Because our austerity of mind is a very deep subject. So we spent a lot of time on that. Dan and the last part is actually about how one can use this Om Tat Sat mantra. We will see the importance of Om, Tat and Sat. The yogic way of doing the meditation and trance. We'll discuss more about that. Om Tat Sat. That is the last part. So any questions, comments?
Like I read one book, next book I read and I forget the first book.
If you don't use it, you lose it. That's my secret. I share with others. I'm a teacher.
No, you remember, they don't remember.
You should also teach. That's the way to remember. Shravan and Kirtan. What is Shravan? Shravan means to get the knowledge. He said knowledge. And what is Kirtan? Kirtan means to repeat what you got. You don't repeat, you don't use it, you lose it. That's the only way to remember. There is no other way to remember. You should start a class and share. It's fact. If you really want to remember, that's the only way. That's how I also started. I never thought people will come. I just started for myself. इसलिए वैसे प्रभु जी आज Sunday, come audience, क्या करेंगे? I said, I don't care. I've come here for so that I remember what I have heard and read. That's it. Okay. Anyone else has any question? Yes. Kanakanga Chaitanya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanvat
Harinam.
Pranams.
Pranam.
Prabhuji, our mind is connected with the senses and the senses and desires. Because mind will be focused either the senses or the desire to fulfill.
Okay.
When it comes to the austerities, then how can we take care of these two things?
Okay, desires actually come on the platform of mind only. Before that, we have to work on first our body and then speech. That's what the whole class was about. We cannot directly work on the mind. It's very hard. Yes, it's just like a person going very systematically in schooling. We cannot directly go to 12th standard. No, you'll have to go through the other. We have to go gradually, first, second, third, fourth, stepwise. So Krishna has always given the Bhagavad Gita stepwise. First, you have to do the austerity of body. One limb. Only then one can go to the austerity of mind gradually. So yes, mind means desires. That's what Bhava Samshuddhi is, purifying those desires, converting material desires to spiritual desires. But before that, there's a lot of homework left, without which you cannot do that. And similarly, mind means senses. And senses can refer to both body and speech. Because speech is also one of the powerful senses. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else?
So Radharani was married to Abhimanyu, right? So, but why was he like that? Like, why not Krishna?
I've given a lecture on Radhashtami. It's okay. I explained the whole thing was about that only. Yeah. There's they wanted to enjoy Parkiya Bhav. I've explained. Please listen. No, Siddhi Baat, Radharani. Siddhi Baat, Radhashtami Siddhi Baat special. That you hear. That I've explained. I didn't repeat what, because that was just 3 days later. So I didn't repeat whatever I spoke in Siddhi Baat. I didn't do that. So that Siddhi Baat, that I guess 4th September was Radhashtami, Sunday. So Siddhi Baat of that Thursday was 1st September. 1st September wala Siddhi Baat absolutely. But who is Abhimanyu? Abhimanyu is Krishna's shadow. Krishna ka shadow. So why she does that? There's a reason. You can hear that Siddhi Baat episode, you'll understand. Chapter wise also it's made. It's made chapter wise. You can just go to that chapter. Okay, we'll close. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you all.